As a second-generation Vietnamese Cambodian American and a child of war survivors, there are gaps in my knowledge and understanding of my ancestral roots. Somehow, much of the art, the culture, the history never reached me. So this is my way of learning, growing, and healing through community.
Also in these crazy projects that no one's ever done before is first obviously getting around the right people.
Yes,
right?
okay.
I want to give a shout out to my LAOSD team again. I love y'all. They're just like me. We're like each other. They're all crazy. They're just
Yes.
crazy. They're like, it's never been done before. Let's go do it. Yeah, these guys, they don't get excited unless it's something that's like a crazy project. I can't even get them up. They don't even get excited if it's like a normal project.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you guys, let's do a Lao bill, first ever Lao bill to reach the governor's desk. And we don't have any money, we don't have a crew or anything like that, but let's figure it out. They're like, oh, okay, sure, let's do it. So that's why I want to give a shout out to my LAOSD team. They're amazing. I love them. They're just all crazy. So that's why I love them.
See, that's why I was attracted. I was like, we got to do an interview.
They're
Because
just-
you and your team are pioneers for a number of initiatives. You've got the Lao Food Fest, which was the first in the nation last year. Now you're coming back for year number 2, adding a carnival, more food, taking in feedback. And also last year, the money, you didn't have a budget. Like you had the idea and then you just figured out the rest.
Yeah, we didn't have it's like, hey guys, when you come sponsor a festival that serves only Lao food, I'm sure that attracts a lot of big donors and sponsors to come to it. But we're like, hey, let's just figure it out. And then one by one, we took our time to sit down with the vendors.
Yes.
To convince them, like, hey, we're gonna do this festival and you can only serve Lao food. Just the looks on their faces, I wish I could just record it. Like they have like an amazing team that believes in it. We had to convince a vendor one by one. Hey guys.
Did you sit in person? Like in person, or was it over the phone call?
In person, over the phone, via Zoom, via text, via email, via everything. We were around.
How many touch points was it like?
Until they told us to go away,
Seriously?
and then we would still take a break and then approach them again, like a week later. And but our vendors are awesome. The people, for just giving us the opportunity just to share the mission and the idea. And then slowly, I think that just through our passion, just through our mission and what we wanted to do, our food vendors the first year, they signed on.
Mm-hmm.
And it just started from there. And I think the moment that if the ones that took the time or had the time to hear what our mission was of showcasing Lao food, Lao culture, Lao cuisine, Lao history, and it's done in honor of just the World Refugee Day, which is the same time. They understood like our mission, of why we're doing it, and to find out that you were a nonprofit organization, and they're like, "What do you guys get out of this? We don't get anything. We have our daytime jobs, we have our real professions. Everyone on our team, we're all 100% nonprofit volunteer. So we're doing it because we're genuinely crazy, and then 2, because we love our community.
Yeah.
So that's, and this year, as you mentioned, we're adding a carnival to it because obviously last year wasn't big enough. So whatever.
Yes. Okay. So that's just one initiative,
Yeah.
and then you've we haven't even touched on the boat festival in depth either. This year will be 10 years.
Yeah. So we took a few years off because of the pandemic, but officially this year would be the 10th official year of the event. So with that one, that started about 12 years ago. Myself and a couple other members of LAOSD. The project now is under the guardianship of Lao Community Cultural Center, one of the oldest organizations in San Diego for the Lao community. They do the Lao New Year, and other amazing programs also as well. So about 13 years ago, I was working with another Asian organization where we were doing a dragon boat festival. And we had like one Lao team that came to participate in it, and the energy from that, right? The energy from that, and then we started introducing the Lao community to or reuniting the Lao community with dragon boat racing, because obviously Lao boat racing, dragon boat racing is big in Southeast Asia, right? So it's a big celebration. And after attending other festivals for a few years, some of our community members said, hey, we really need to have a Lao boat racing festival, which in Lao say Bun Suong He, right? And at first, they're like, I'm like, go ahead, you do it. They're like, nah, bro, you do it. We're like, no. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I know how much work it is. I'm not gonna do it. But then they just kept poking at it, and some people, and then I kept hearing, no, it can't happen. It can't happen because it's a Lao event. Lao people can't get together to figure it out unless it's drinking, unless it's dancing. That's the only thing we know how to do.
Wow.
So I kept hearing like, we couldn't do it. We couldn't do it. So I'm like, okay, that's the reason why I'm gonna do it with my team, the Mekong, which at the time our crew was Mekong Boat Racing Club. We named it that, and we're like, we're gonna do it just because you guys told us that we couldn't do it, and 80% of the people are naysayers and critics of this project. So now we had to do it, and just through passion and just through connecting with the right people, we were able to pull it off. It took us a year to plan for it, but that's when it started and ended up being the first official Lao Boat Racing Festival in North America.
Again.
Yeah.
And that was the first project of its, like, a big Lao project that had not been done before.
Nope.
And now look, 10 plus years later.
This year will be its official 10th year. Under the leadership of Lao Community Cultural Center. It's an amazing organization that's been serving the community for almost 40 years now. So come out Mission Bay Park this year in September for the 10th annual Lao Boat Racing Festival. You'll love it. It's the vibe. You've been around Lao folks. We get hyped for everything. We love it. So yeah, it's like a Lao village, basically a little Lao village at the beach, and we're having a good time the whole time there. It's probably the hottest event as far as boat racing wise. We're just amped. The energy is amazing. There's cultural performances. There's food. Of course, there's music all the time. There's always someone singing. There's always someone dancing. It's just one big party there. I love it. So come out San Diego in September, the 10th annual Lao Boat Racing Festival.
Yes. Okay. So that's number 2. Okay, and then number 3, this bill.
Yeah.
As someone who did not grow up with politics or got involved or really understood, coming from an immigrant home, this is another crazy. You used the word crazy. Like, just let's talk about, where does it come from? Like where and then to implement. And I can imagine why, but I would love to hear.
Yeah, so Bill AB 1393, which is the inclusion of Lao history and cultural studies from K through 12 in California. So how the genesis of that is really, there was a previous bill, SB 895, which is a Vietnam War era bill that passed to include the history of the Vietnamese history and cultural studies, the Cambodian genocide, and then also Hmong cultural studies. So the Vietnam War era bill, but Laos and Laotians weren't included in the bill. So although we were really happy that the bill passed because it opened the doors for Southeast Asian history to be in the history books, we felt that it wasn't completed because it's not possible to separate Laos and the history of Laos and the secret war from the Vietnam War era history. So when that passed, so it was bittersweet in a sense that we were happy because for our Southeast Asian brothers and sisters to have this bill, but then at the same time we felt that it was incomplete because a lot of many folks from Laos, like I said, fought alongside the United States to help stop the spread of communism. And for our elders and for our history, for the secret war to not be represented in this bill, we just felt that it was an injustice. So my bestie again, Bobby Udinarath called me. She called me I think at 4 a.m. at this time. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Are you like there's. So I guess when someone calls you up for, okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
This could be good or bad,
Yeah.
right? So I picked up. She said, "Look, we don't have to get this bill fixed."
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. I'm listening. And this time I'm half asleep, I'm like half asleep. And I'm thinking in the back of my head, we don't have no, like, our crew, we don't have any money. None of us have ever passed the bill. And we're just in San Diego. And at this time, although the Lao American leadership in California, although we kind of knew each other, we haven't developed our like communication machine or apparatus yet, right, to get this
Yeah.
done. And in California, I think the population is about almost 40 million now. So it's basically a country, to get the bill passed. So just and then through the help of Lana, through the help of the community in Fresno, through our contacts that we reached out to from the Center for Lao Studies, the legacy. We called basically everybody, say, hey, we want to do this. Can we have your support? We need your support. And they were very supportive. But the challenge was like none of us have ever done it before. Right. So, and we didn't have any money so not only do we have to figure out how to get a bill submitted to the governor's desk for one of basically the most populous state in the country, was that how are we going to get our community together? Because politics is something that the Lao community is still developing on. We're late to the party as far as with our other Southeast Asian brothers and sisters as far as being involved in politics. But how we figured it out, besides connecting our leadership throughout the country, because this was a collective effort, was really we looked on the website of California how to submit a bill, and then we just went step by step, and we just called everybody that we knew to help us.
Yeah.
But we really just figured it out along the way. We had to do something, not because one, we felt that if we didn't do it, that we would be doing an injustice for ourselves. And we have to there comes a time where we have to be our own voice. We are the ones that are the best fitted to tell our own story.
Yeah.
And no one is going to advocate for us sometimes if it's not us. We should be a community that should be vocal, that should stand up. Now is the time. And I think that for a while, our community is quite, I think in general, just the Asian community for a while, for many generations here, we were taught to be quiet, right? To not talk, to not communicate. And that's the one thing I love about this current generation, your generation, is just you guys are so vocal, so visible, you're animated, you stand up. So we were able to implement a lot of that energy, get the youth involved, get the elders involved. We felt like, hey, enough is enough of being quiet. And this is something where we did it for our ancestors, our elders, for the sacrifice of the refugees that came. We're like, there's no way we're going to let their history disappear, to not be included, because these are the facts. And that fueled us. And that was the reason why we were able to power through the event, through the campaign to get the bill to the governor's desk. Along the way, we were able to hold an event, one of the largest Lao American events, a fundraiser. We had like 1,300 people show up. And that through that process also gave me confidence that, you know what, if you have passion for something, if you're doing something right, that the cavalry will actually show up, and your tribe will show up, and like-minded people will show up. Because it was tough in the beginning, the bill, because we were trying to get people to sign petitions, we're trying to get people to donate, we're trying to wake people up, because I mean, let's be real. I mean, on social media and community, unless it's about turning up sometimes or something interesting, if it's not about food or it's not something about exciting, it's not attractive. It's boring, right? But for some, politics is boring. Passing a bill is boring, and it is, right? And it is for people that are not involved in it. But we just kept pushing. We built momentum, and we're like, you know what? Even if we have to, the 20 of us or 30 of us, if we're going to have to march to the capital, the state capital ourselves, and protest for the next year to get their attention, that's what we're going to do. And that was our vibe and our energy and our mindset at the time was like, no, we're not gonna go away. We're not gonna just accept this because enough is enough. And and we got the bill to the governor's desk. It passed uh, the basically the assembly and the state senate unanimously. The Governor Newsom, eventually vetoed it because of some other ethnic studies controversy. But we're really proud of that bill because one, it really helped take our community to the next step. Meaning, like, we need to be more vocal. We need to be involved in the political process, the civic process, the public process. And that's really at the essence of LAOSD, which is our nonprofit group now, is to empower Lao Americans and then support the underserved community. So that's really the genesis of LAOSD, our nonprofit group that started the Lao Food Festival. The members that started the Lao Boat Racing Festival is to empower Lao Americans. It's from being left out of that bill. Yeah. So we're like, no, we're not going to take it anymore.
Yeah.
We're not going to take it anymore. No one's gonna speak for us. We're gonna speak for ourselves, and that started everything else. So
Wow. There's I want to like recap the themes that I'm hearing from you, like throughout all the stories, the experience, the projects. Number one, community.
yeah,
And I the word is also no excuses either. Like literally there's no excuses.
yeah,
You didn't there a lot of this every time is like you didn't know, you didn't have the money.
no,
Which are two big things, right? Like you figured it out and the money came after as a result of taking action.
yes,
But it really you had support, you had community, you had
yes,
someone outside of you who also was on board seeing the vision and the mission that it was a power of numbers.
yes,
And connecting not just with the immediate community that's close in proximity, but when you reached out to other communities around
yeah,
the country.
yes. Not only from my generation, your generation, and even the older and the younger. What I learned through along the way, when we do projects or we're trying to do some type of a mission where it seems lonely, it seems impossible, seems like it's not going to happen, is that if you genuinely believe in this mission and you're 100% in and you have that energy and that passion, that just through the natural laws of I think the universe, that it'll attract, right, other like-minded people. And the most important thing is to have this authenticity that, hey, I do believe in this project and I'm all in on this project. And I think others will feel that way. Because myself also, when I first met you, I felt your passion and your energy with your project and your documentary that you wanted to do. And even you're like, hey, I want to eventually have a large distributor like Netflix and other platforms. And I'm like, I love it. I love the scale that you're thinking. And then at the same time, I knew that your energy was going to attract other people. Because myself personally, I have the soft spot for a person that has that grit and that hustle, that believes in what they're doing 100%. And I know that there's other people that are like us out there. They're like, you know what, this person's hustling. They believe in their mission 100%. So even if I can make a small donation, if I can help them connect to other people that can get them along the way, or even sometimes if I could just get out of the way to help you, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes helping somebody is not blocking them too, right? It's getting out of the way. So what I learned along the way that has helped me, there were other people that were willing to do that for me. And that helped me to, in a sense, where I'm going to pay it forward when I have the platform, when I have the resources, when I'm able to do that, I'm going to help others in that way. It's all about paying it forward, because there's no way, like, for example, like the Lao Boat Racing Festival, when we started, when it seemed impossible, there were others that stepped in that gave us that energy. It was as simple as, hey, I don't have much money to give you. Here's $10. Or, hey, I don't have the money to give you, but I want to at least acknowledge what you're doing to help power you, to say, you know what, I'm here. I see you. You're heard. keep doing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's just as good as a donation right there,
Every
right?
effort,
Not better,
every yes,
right?
yes.
And even like the bill, the bill which seemed impossible, like who are these Lao, the small Lao group or the small community called Laotians that are trying to pass the bill, that they felt our energy and our state coalesced around each other, people from across the country. Even the Lao Food Festival seemed impossible, but we kept doing it. But then other people started coming and they joined the movement. And the most important thing was really just that authenticity and then actually doing it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Really, when people see you, when you're out there, you're putting in that effort, that's when the magic happens. I think that's when it happens.